16 surprising stories and secrets from the sets of your favorite Hollywood classics. Every year you curl up and rewatch It's a Wonderful Life at Christmas. Or maybe you simply can't change the channel when you see Singin' in the Rain playing on TV. Yes, these films from the golden age of Hollywood are classics, untouchable, beloved pieces of cinema. But there still might be a story about them that you don't know. Here are 16 from some of history's most iconic films. Number 16. A famous Jaws line was actually an on-set inside joke. Richard Zanuck and David Brown produced the 1975 classic Jaws, but they were reportedly very stingy. One of the movie's screenwriters, Carl Gottlieb, told The Hollywood Reporter in 2016 how everyone kept telling them, "You're gonna need a bigger boat." It became a catchphrase for any time anything went wrong. And when cameras were rolling, actor Roy Schneider improvised those 6 words at the perfect moment. And the rest is cinematic history. Number 15. A haunted spooks photo shoot cost Harold Lloyd 2 fingers. A photo shoot for his Harold Lloyd's 1920 silent comedy Haunted Spooks wasn't at all glamorous. It was almost deadly. The actor posed for a shot while a prop bomb was sizzling nearby Lloyd that noted that for a faux device it was giving off quite a bit of smoke. Seconds later he found out why. The prop explosive was actually a real bomb. The photographer flew across the room and Lloyd lost a pair of his fingers. Number 14. The Phantom of the Opera's star did his own makeup. Lon Chaney spent years on stage, and during that time, he learned how to do his own makeup, and then some. He became so skilled at changing his looks that he started taking character roles over leading man roles. On the set of 1923's The Hunchback of Notre Dame and Phantom of the Opera 2 years later, he made himself into each movie's titular character with false teeth, wax, and grease-based paint. Number 13. Lawrence of Arabia, an epic film with an epic filming schedule. Most Hollywood movies spend about 150 days in pre-production before shooting for just over 3 months. Now, let's compare that with Lawrence of Arabia. The 1962 Hollywood classic that clocks in at a whopping 227 minutes in length. This movie spent a jaw-dropping 2 years in pre-production and then moved on to shooting for 14 months. Number 12. Sean Connery had a Bond-worthy disguise in Dr. No. When you think of all the actors who have played James Bond, there's no one who's been more iconic in the role than the late Sean Connery. But the truth is, he was missing one element of the spy's good looks: a full head of hair. Right from 1962's Dr. No onwards, Connery wore a toupee to fill out his receding hairline. Number 11. Move over, darling. James Garner quite literally did that to Doris Day. According to Doris Day, her co-star in 1963's Move Over, Darling, James Garner, simply didn't know his own strength. For one scene, the brawny actor picked her up under her arms and accidentally cracked a couple of her ribs. So, for the rest of the shoot, Day had to wear adhesive tape that made it hard to breathe and laugh. Luckily, though, her relationship with Garner endured. They remained friends for long after they wrapped. Number 10. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? The Censors. Elizabeth Taylor won an Oscar for her performance in Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, but the world almost lost out on their chance to see the flick. That's because the 1966 movie, which peers into the turbulent relationship of a middle-aged married couple, was considered very mature subject matter. Eventually, censors slapped it with an 18 or over rating, the first of its kind to be released in the US, and it went on to impress audiences and critics alike. Number 9. Psycho features a now inoffensive scene that censors tried to cut. Here's a fact that might one day come out on a round of movie trivia. Which flick was the first to feature a toilet on screen? How about a flushing commode? The answer to both questions is Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 classic, Psycho. Funnily enough, the director had to fight to have the shot included in the movie. What viewers might find offensive certainly has changed. Number 8. Those weren't real spider webs on the set of Dracula. In 1931's Dracula, Bela Lugosi's vampire traveled to London, where he spent his days hiding in a coffin and his nights stalking the city streets for victims. As if that storyline wasn't creepy enough, designers covered the set in spider webs they made through a very interesting process. They shot rubber cement through rotary guns to create the spooky webs. Number 7. Sherlock Jr. was a neck-breaking experience for Buster Keaton. Buster Keaton historian and writer David MacLeod told Scottish newspaper The Sunday Post in 2020 that the actor had always said that by the end of his life he'd broken virtually every bone in his body. While filming Sherlock Jr. in 1924, he ticked off one on the list during a daring take. In it, Keaton jumped off the end of a train and grabbed onto a waterspout, pulling it down and releasing a gush of water so forceful that it shattered his neck. Number 6. Casablanca casting rumors included a U.S. president. Casablanca could have been a totally different movie if initial casting rumors had come to pass. An article in The Hollywood Reporter revealed who the leading man in the 1942 movie would be, and Humphrey Bogart's name was not in the frame. Instead, the story said that an unknown actor, Ronald Reagan, had nabbed the part. Of course, this was completely false. The enviable role had actually gone to Bogart, but Reagan had leaked the misinformation as a publicity stunt for himself. Number 5. A child-actor rivalry caused tears on the set of Meet Me in St. Louis. Margaret O'Brien needed to cry quite a bit in Meet Me in St. Louis, but the then child actress couldn't always muster up the tears. She revealed during a pre-show talk at a 2014 screening of the 1944 flick that her mom would bring up her daughter's rival, June Allison, to make her sob. O'Brien recalled, "My mother would come over to me and say, 'I'll have the makeup man put the false tears down your face, but June is such a great actress, she always cries real tears.' And then I started crying because I couldn't let June win the competition." Number 4. Cleopatra nearly busted the 20th Century Fox budget. When filming for Cleopatra began in 1960, the movie had a modest $5 million budget attached to it. But 2 years later, the film still wasn't finished, and execs funneled many more millions into getting the job done. In the end, it nearly bankrupted 20th Century Fox and cost the studio somewhere between $35 and $44 million. Adjusted for modern inflation, that would be about $370 million, making it one of the most expensive movies ever made. Number 3. Shirley Temple endured some strange punishments on set. Child star Shirley Temple charmed audiences throughout the 30s and 40s. Before she made it in Hollywood, though, a then 3-year-old Temple got cast in a short film called Baby Burlesques. The adults on set used a strange and cruel punishment to keep the child actors in line. She remembered sitting alone in the dark, black sound booth on a block of ice when she misbehaved. Luckily, as Temple recalled in her 1988 autobiography, Child Star, the black box did no lasting damage to my psyche. Number 2. Kansas said no to Frankenstein. James Whale's Frankenstein tells a dark story, to be fair. Its eponymous doctor toes the line between life and death, reanimating lifeless body parts and creating a monster. Still, you'd never expect such a classic tale to be censored. But when the film came out in 1931, that's exactly what happened. The state of Kansas banned the movie from its theaters because it featured cruelty and low moral standards. Number 1. Kubrick followed only his precise vision on Paths of Glory. Stanley Kubrick fans will know that the director paid very close attention to detail. As such, he'd often ask for multiple retakes of the same scene to make sure it matched his vision. On the set of Paths of Glory, though, this process didn't suit veteran actor Adolphe Menjou. According to his co-star Kirk Douglas, Menjou lost it when the director asked him for another take after he had already done 17. At the end of Menjou's outburst, Kubrick retorted by calmly asking if he was ready to try again. And the actor went through the scene again.